I'm really excited for this. So today we finally get to check out the Breach of Trust DLC for Frostpunk 2. A huge thank you to 11-Bit Studios for sponsoring this video. If you're interested in checking out the game, there's a link down below in the description of this video. Now, I already clicked on stories, and indeed there we have it, the Breach of Trust DLC. So this is a brand new story. I have spent about 200 hours or so in Frostpunk 1 and 2 combined. And today we get to check out this new story-focused scenario that's set in a city called New Edinburgh. So it is in tumult, the fault beneath it quakes, Aurora has cut off food supplies and starvation looms, and only conquest or desperate barter will stave it off. So normally in this game, you fight the cold, but this time around, apparently we get to lead a city that is built right next to a volcano, which changes basically everything. So we're gonna have to survive votes of trust. We get to apparently be called the first citizen, and I guess we'll figure out all of the ways in which I can desperately fail, because Frostpunk is, of course, a very strategic game, and I'm unlikely to make it on the harder difficulties the very first time around. Now, if you are interested, but you've never played Frostpunk 2 before, there is currently also a 50% discount for a limited amount of time on the base game, as well as the deluxe edition of the game, which includes the base game and then the first DLC called Fractured Utopias. So you can go check that out right now on the PC, the PlayStation, as well as the Xbox. Again, a link is down below. With all of that being said, let's decide our difficulty. So it seems like there are four difficulty settings. I'm definitely not playing Citizen or Officer. The question is, do I play Steward or Captain? I usually find in strategy games that like the absolute hardest difficulty is really fun after you've already completed it once or twice. So Steward is probably going to be a slightly better way to figure out whether or not I'll fail within the first 30 minutes or if it's gonna take me a couple hours. Enable pop-up tutorials is good. Survivor mode. There's no active pause. Oh, no. We're certainly going to be pausing. All right, without further ado, I've never played this before. I'm jumping into this completely blind. Without further ado, I think it's time to start.
I had a dream, and it was magnificent. A city where hunger and cold were but a distant memory. For 30 years, the dream came true. You were fed. You were warm. Yet never happy. You had it all. I gave you all. Well, fate is a moody lad. Now, I will leave you to take it into your own hands. I had a dream of ash, fire, and smoke. You running around like sheep, looking for a shelter, looking for your master. Aye, that would be me.
Edinburgh is evacuated. Thousands die. The survivors settle beside a dormant volcano, harnessing its endless warmth. They establish a colony, Aurora, atop a frozen lake. Its bountiful harvest becomes their lifeline. As years pass, a feud grows between colony and capital. A captain seizes power and enforces a truce. More heat is drawn from the depths. More fish is demanded from Aurora. Fed and warm for 30 years, New Edinburgh is a miracle. Abundance curdles. The ground roars. The captain is overthrown. His madness ends. Aurora, still consumed by the old rust, declares independence. Today, New Edinburgh starves. The mountain groans. Through rumbling and despair, One steps forward. You.
All right. A matter of trust. First among equals. Before being sworn in as first citizen, you must first be approved by the New Edinburgh Council. All eyes are upon you. The Four Fingers, who led the rebellion against the previous captain, are clamoring to bring steel to Aurora, while the ever-scheming brokers advocate a diplomatic solution with the deviant colony. Meanwhile, the cautious founders are biding their time, waiting, as always, before throwing in their lot with the winner. The presiding officer motions for silence. The floor is yours. So in case you're unfamiliar, this is not just a strategy game when it comes to the city building and deciding how you're going to be managing the town itself, but you also, very much so in Frostpunk 2, have to play the political game. Now, it's actually really cool. I'm not streaming this, obviously, because I'm playing like a early release version of the game. But if I were to be live, I could go ahead and press this button to start a viewer poll. I'm gonna have to figure everything out, though, by myself. I'm surely this is gonna go better without the chat's input. Totally. Decide how to handle the rebellious colony. You will have 1 year to honor your word. The other path will remain open. Okay. So I can choose to either negotiate with Aurora, I believe that's the town's name, or we can vow to reclaim what is ours. We will secure food by trading with the newly independent colony. Ah, okay, never mind. So Aurora is a secondary town, my bad. So we are leading New Edinburgh, and I guess, we can choose. We have to reclaim what's ours. We will send troops to regain control of the rebellious colony. Relations extremely improve with the Four Fingers. Okay. Now, I have found in previous runs that it's impossible to please everyone. At the very least initially. Maybe at some point if we can introduce a way to, let's say, improve our overall trust. There's many creative ways in which we can achieve that, I'm sure. It's going to be impossible, though, up until that point, to please everyone. So we have to choose. Do we want to be Mr. Nice Guy? Or do we want to reclaim what's ours? You know what? I'm going to try and reclaim what is ours. We will send troops to regain control of the rebellious colony. The first citizen election. The nominated individual, that's me, shall govern the city as first citizen for a limited term of office. I'm sure that's discussable as we progress. Delegates vote based on relations, but high trust will sway many to vote for a popular first citizen, regardless of their personal opinion. Yeah, so I apparently still have the setting turned on, so this would be where the chat's vote comes in, which is honestly a really cool feature, because we obviously get the different council members, right? So we have the founders, tradition-loving descendants of the settlers who built the city. They seek to pass childhood family apprenticeship. Okay, fair enough. We have the brokers, a tight-knit community of silver-tongued traders and merchants. That's 32% of the population. This is 39% of the population. They're trying to allow productive outsiders. A tight-knit community of silver-tongued traders, right? And then we have over here the Four Fingers. This is about a quarter of the population. These are New Edinburgh's work-devoted muscle, which rebelled against the former captain. They look friendly. This is their manifest. Adaptation. For years, New Edinburgh lived beyond its means. We must remold ourselves and learn to thrive within constraints. They want equality. We stood arm in arm against the captain and his cronies. We must never allow a class of exploiters to rule us again. And then there's reason. The revolution ripped out the rotten tangles of the old order. Now we can craft something harmonious and beautiful to take its place. They seek to pass food additives, contagion prevention, and childhood with mandatory schooling. You know what? Sure. Sure. So we already have 59 people that are hesitant. We have 41 people that are in favor. We need to get a majority vote. So I think we're just gonna run the vote over here because this will very likely pass. I need 51 votes, and would you look at that? Very convenient. I guess, actually, if I wouldn't have had this particular law passed, the game would probably end right here. So I'm assuming this one is probably scripted. Okay, here we go. You are the first citizen. Your first statement is clear. Secure a future. The mountain activity and the tremors have severely damaged New Edinburgh. Yet, it seems you will soon have to handle the situation with Aurora one way or another. Whether you open up and maintain negotiations with the colony or prepare us for war is now up to you. I do not know how war would work in the game, but here we are. Welcome to the beautiful city. So we can zoom out quite a bit. And find out the positioning here of Aurora. Fair enough, I can't really get much closer than that. But there is indeed a little bit of a path that connects our two cities. Okay, I think the first thing I'll do is pause the game. Just because there's a lot of things to go ahead and manage. Mortality is stable. We can go ahead and construct new structures. We have seismic stress that's rising extremely rapidly. Estimated time to the next tremor is 12 weeks. So, my current assignments are to research and build at least one barracks hub. Okay. 0 out of 2. And then restore what was broken. Repair or demolish damaged districts that would crumble in future tremors. Reduce steam output to 200 or less to limit tremor danger. So that's an optional assignment here that I've got. Okay. So we have the tech tree. We need new ideas to move forward. However, different communities may propose diverging answers to the same issue. They will only pursue solutions that align with their worldview. Choosing a community to develop an idea will improve your relations with that community. Okay. So, it seems like some of the options here are highlighted. Man, there's so many different things available, though, here, right from the get-go, that I am very likely going to be making many mistakes. In my experience, things like scouting the Frostland it's something that, like, adds a ton of value because there's a lot of resources out in the wilderness that we can probably harvest. But at the same time, it's usually not a very high priority. I found, though, in previous runs that actually prioritizing this as early as possible and just gobbling up as many of the free resources as possible and then focusing on all of the societal issues and the cities of the town and all the rest of it, it usually works out fine that way. But I think I'm going to just leave the Frostland scouting until a later moment for now. There is a little exclamation mark right over here for the barracks. A barracks hub. Military barracks where soldiers are recruited, trained and deployed by combat and Frostland veterans. Well, I guess we've kind of set our sights on the Four Fingers for now, even though they're the smallest part of the population. Apparently they kicked out the previous first dude. What was it called again? First citizen? Maybe we should try and, be on their good side. Let's go ahead and begin the research for that particular idea. The Auroran political prisoners? This will be a community that still has to come up, I guess? The Lockmores and Tinkers from Aurora locked up as suspected enemies of the city. Bro's got a great haircut, though. Anyways. Decide the prisoner's fate? Dude, is this DLC gonna take it like 4 steps further than the previous ones? Okay, so there's a very significant food scarcity at the moment. It is only minus 20 degrees Celsius, though. For Frostpunk terms, that is basically summer. There's also a bit of a material scarcity, and we've apparently got some broken down parts of the city here. So this is currently not running. An extraction district. Deactivated, no access to the resource deposit. Man, they have thrown me into the thick of things, haven't they? Okay, so let's actually have a look around the town. Because what do we have here? So we have the central district, which is very warm, very toasty. We have 12,000 inhabitants, it seems, with a workforce of 226 only available. That's really not that many. So what do we have over here? We have a housing district. We have another housing district, so they actually have different names now. This is the Frankly. Maybe they had that in the past too, but I just never noticed it. We have the Midsummer over here too. The Sturchley, another dense housing district. So I'm assuming this is where most people will live. Yeah, very likely. We have a food district over here, which is warm. Deposit food remaining 9.1k, which will last for 18 weeks. And it will have a workforce of 800 people. Fair enough, so we definitely want to make sure we get as much food as possible. And this thing over here is not currently enabled because there's no access to the resource deposit. Okay, now when you hit Alt on the keyboard, it will show you the different types of resources that are naturally available here. So for example, there's a coal seam. We've got some prefabs right over here too, different types of deposits. The only food that I can find here naturally seems to be on the corner here. So there's fertile soil right in that spot. Soil suitable for growing crops is worth its weight in gold after the freeze. Depending on technology, it can be used in place or excavated and processed through hothouses, increasing efficiency. Right, so in order to get over there, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to break open the Frostland. So there's this frost break mechanic, which I think I should start off with immediately. This is gonna cost me some, but I think I can go ahead and open up some of this road over here and then slowly carve a path in the direction of the fertile soil. So the frost breaking is also going to then simultaneously open up these abandoned ruins. We already have some extra deposits over here though. Glencoe Ruins. Part of an abandoned settlement used by scouts in the early days before the rest of the city was eventually built. Fair enough. So we should probably try to see if we can just harvest this straight up, right? So these 3 districts in the corner are all labeled as wasting heat. Maybe this is stupid, but I think I'm going to deactivate them. So we will have a lot more people available, because at the moment I just don't have much of a workforce. Minus 20 degrees is also very manageable. Now I have a couple of different options here for the broken down districts. I can choose to repair them, but it would take, well, 50 workforce and then more importantly 61 prefabs, which I just simply don't have. This may be a mistake, but I think what I'm going to do is just demolish them for now. Yeah, we'll begin demolishing the 2 broken down districts here. And if I need them later, I can rebuild them, which will cost some wasted resources. But at the very least, I'm going to be able to continue managing the city. So let's just go ahead and, yeah, demolish that, which is going to increase the amount I have available over here. And then maybe some of those prefabs that I unlock, I can use to then, well, build up another district that harvests the prefabs that are right over here. I think that probably makes the most sense. The frost breaking is nearly done. Does that actually also cost prefabs? No, it costs heat stamps, which is okay. Let's just keep, I'm actually gonna, let's go around the outside. There we go. We'll keep progressing. This is going to give me at least some resources that I do desperately need. The hothouse, is it built? It's nearly done. There it is. We'll have to figure out if it's, okay, indeed going to be diminishing the hunger that currently is indeed troubling the city. Seems like food scarcity is okay for now. We do also have this food district on over here, but there's no access to a resource deposit here. So if there's 0 food remaining in this area, it's an exhausted volcanic terrain, nothing will ever grow in anymore. Yeah, we should also certainly then go ahead and just dismantle that one. So there's still food remaining over here, but it's quickly depleting. I think we'll demolish this one and then make sure we establish new food production right over there in that spot. Restore what was broken, success. So you have repaired or demolished all districts damaged by the tremor. I have indeed. They should now be able to stay standing, even if damaged against by a subsequent tremor. Yet even in districts that stay standing, many will be killed or injured when a subsequent tremor strikes. We must build emergency shelters next to all our districts to protect our population? I mean, already we are hit with a pretty tough choice. Like, obviously, the right thing to do is to build emergency shelters. The thing is, this is going to trigger a side quest on the left side of my screen, and if I don't reach it, believe it or not, the people are going to be angry. They're going to be upset. While I would like to build the emergency shelters, I have no money for anything I'm doing at the moment anyways. So I think I'm gonna say that I have done enough. This is actually just the day where you find out Loco is a terrible person. I try not to be, okay? I'm trying my best. Forgotten Galberts, the old captain's legacy. Oh, this is the boomers of the city, isn't it? First citizen, as you know, that's me by the way, the old captain had the unfortunate habit of locking up his opponents. What do you mean unfortunate habit? Huh? What are you trying to say right now, brother? Although we freed all political... What? We freed all political prisoners, we are unsure what to do with the Aurorans. These poor sods are as much a victim as we were, points out a founder delegate who used to share their lot. We should send them home as a token of goodwill. Give them away No. Pardon the Aurora dudes? No way, dude. They will call it a ransom, but it's good. Okay, we can use them as leverage. Or we can keep them in prison. So whatever we do not pardon them, right? Like I don't know if Aurora is aware of this yet, but clearly we are at war with them. We are not going to be pardoning them. We can use them as leverage, which is going to increase the Aurora's defiance. It's also going to give me 30,000 food, which I do desperately need. Or we can keep them in prison and have some additional trust. If Aurora defiance gets high enough, they will refuse to negotiate with you. High defiance can also lead to more resistance if Aurora is retaken by force. Nah, I think we keep him in prison, dude. Yeah. We keep him in prison. All hail the new boss, the same as the old. Hey, Catherine! Catherine Patterson! So we still locking up folk for what they think? Is that the way? Oh, okay, well, the people already hate me. Excellent, this is going great. So we finished the frost breaking over here. I want to make sure, yeah, that we break open both of these spots. That's a nice little setup. So that's going to give me some more food that I can go ahead and harvest. And now that I have 220 prefabs available again, I think I can set up an extraction district over here, right? So the nice thing is that if you are in proximity to the warmth of the main part of the city, you do get a little bit of a temperature bonus, which is nice. I'm guessing, though, that maybe it's also going to increase squalor, or people don't really like living right next to heavy machinery. There's always some trade-off. No way I'm going to be able to reach all the way over to that spot, so let's just build it right about like so. I think that's a decent way of doing it. So, that'll start harvesting some of the old neighborhoods. And obviously then later on I can also deconstruct that part of the town. The rally point for your troops? Set on the icy shores on a vast frozen lake. This military camp offers a clear view of Aurora while remaining a safe distance from the colony. A strong vantage point for offensive and a reliable one in case of retreat. Okay. And then we have the Beggar's Grassland. So one of Aurora's main coal deposits. The mines run deep enough for Aurorans to establish a proper outpost around them, keeping their furnace well fed and ablaze. Taking control of it and cutting off their fuel would prove an incredible strategy. So what is really nice about Frostpunk 2, right, is that with these different scenarios, there is a lot of replayability. Because clearly, I have now chosen the path of war. Maybe not the smartest thing to do. The alternative, though, would have been to just go ahead and side with them instead. And maybe work together. I'm not sure why I immediately jumped to this decision. But look, if I hear anybody complain about it, if I find out anybody did not hit the like button below the video, I think, let me just say that the prison is back up, okay? That's... You have to become the supreme ruler of the people. Is the only way to do it. So there's a lot of geothermal energy available over here. Yeah, so we may very well have to power this on because my stockpile for coal is rapidly going down. Okay, so if I enable this district, it's going to increase the output of steam, and that's right over here. New Edinburgh's generator 4, okay. So, does this mean that I consume less coal? Because I have another one over here, too. Ah, yeah, look at that. So, enabling the second district apparently gives me a surplus of steam.
Attention all looters. Food dispensaries store any rations overnight.
We've got some Scottish people. My Scottish accent is not very good. Gotta work on that one. I'm not from Scotland. Actually, I just gotta think about doing a Warcraft Dwarven accent instead. Interestiana pint? Be good. Muradin the Mountain King. There you go. That's the best I can. That's the best I can do. Disease is currently growing because I have a shelter scarcity, and there's also a law for chemical additives. Not ideal. I can go ahead and propose a new law if I want to. Yeah, so I can actually change the law for the chemical additives as well. I can go with forage additives instead. City. We have citizenship. Society. No common rules for childhood. We have no rules about funerals either. And then we have governance laws. They're special laws which modify your powers as a first citizen. Communities will vote on them based on relations. To pass them, you need 67. Nice. That's for the Gen Alpha viewers out there. You can pass them in any order, although you just need a 2/3 majority, by the way. That's what this means. You can pass them in any order, although some have custom requirements. Okay. Oh, I see. Suspend elections. The first citizen may suspend the regular election schedule in times of crises. The first citizen may call for snap elections, cutting the current term short and starting another one if won. That's convenient. To prevent council deadlock, the first citizen may call for an immediate revote when a law is rejected by a narrow margin. The first citizen may call upon citizens for mandatory military service. Alright. To prepare for hard times and meet trade agreements, the first citizen may restrict the use of certain resources for non-critical purposes. Governance laws require 2/3 majority to pass. They may be passed in any order. Communities will vote based on their relations. I think it's a bit early for the governance. Yeah, we need to have a stronger grip on the city first. Alternatively, what I can do to increase my relations with certain folks is I think give them the option to suggest a vote. Yeah, I can grant them the agenda. I remember from the core game that this was... Hey, she's got an artificial hand. Look at that. I believe that this was a really powerful mechanic. So maybe we should just go with them for a while. And... I can even make them a promise. Maybe I can make them a promise to grant them the agenda. That would be a double whammy. First citizen, your relation with the Four Fingers will improve if you promise to enact one of their suggestions. Which one of their proposals will you pledge to support? Promise to research equal pay? Promise to research all due maintenance? Promise to research salvaging factory? Everyone must share the burden of maintaining the city's machinery and infrastructure? Labor is labor, and thus all will earn equally. This will eliminate discrepancies between workers and the elite. Start the quest to research equal pay. Everybody gets flat pay in my town. I don't know about doing that one just yet. That seems a little bit controversial. All will do maintenance probably makes sense. Okay. So research all do maintenance. If I'm not mistaken, that is a quest that will take place in... Is it over here? The emergency shelter? Or no, it's maintenance duty. That's it. Yeah. So all do maintenance is the one that I will try and research here in a little bit. Currently, I can't yet because we only just recently did the previous one. Maybe I should upset some people, you know? Maybe I should take some of their money. So the founders have a very significant amount of... a very significant portion of the town. I could go ahead and make them a promise. I can also raise funds on them specifically, but it makes them kind of angry. Look, Brenda over here with her fox scarf. She's going to be kind of pissed off if I choose that option. So we're not really in that desperate of a time yet. Oh, wow. Send crews into treacherous crevices to forage for edible fungi. Conserve calories? What do you guys have? I can't actually choose it. We can't really just go with one particular faction in the town, though. I think for now it's okay, but I will grant them the agenda as well. So what's nice about it is that not only do they become more happy with my rule, they also will grow as a faction. We're all in this equally. Adapting is the smart way of dealing with it. Okay, so these guys want to have like 100% equality. Okay, so I finally have all of the resources that I need to build up a food district right over here. Now, the amount of food that I currently have is okay, it seems. Like it's somewhat manageable. But it would be better if I can start up another district over here. So let's go ahead and build one. On top of both of those resource piles. It's going to increase the amount of food that we have. And actually hunger is growing again. So I don't think it would be a wasted bit of effort. New law available. We will welcome all who wish to join our city and share in its benefits, regardless of their ability to contribute. So what is kind of cool, right, is that, yes, I just made that group of people, the Four Fingers, happy by granting them the agenda. I can also go behind their backs and negotiate with some of the other factions in the city, or, for example, negotiate with guys in the chat to vote against them, which would make, for example, the brokers or the founders happy, because I obviously am going with them. But I've also simultaneously played the Four Fingers, because obviously they were given the agenda. And this is one of the really subtle things that I think makes Frostpunk 2 so unique. I've never played a game quite like it before. It's really sick. I think I'm just going to let it go to a vote and not bother negotiating, because I don't really feel particularly strongly about this. The only concern is that if I get a lot more population, I'm going to have to house them somewhere too. Obviously, they're going to be fed, right? And they're going to need to be fed, but it also gives me more people to work with, which is convenient in some ways as well. So I think we'll just let it go to a vote. I'm okay with really whatever outcome. So it needs 51 to pass. That's a majority vote. And it's going to pass, yeah.
The measure passes.
The viewer votes. Oh, right! Dude, what is really funny is that I have lobbied while live on Twitch for my viewers to vote in one way or another. And while initially that worked out really well, it didn't take very long for viewers to figure out that their public disobedience would be shown right over here. If you, by the way, want to see my full playthrough of Frostpunk 2 when it first came out, I did post that entire run over on the More Loco YouTube channel. So I'll pop a link down below in the description of this video too, in case you're interested in checking that out. So this particular law, it did pass. Accept all outsiders is now in force. That means we may very well get more people into our settlement. The council has voted. Nothing good will come of this from letting every random stranger in. Well, it is what it is, as we say. So I think food will probably be taken care of here temporarily. No access here anymore. Ah, that's why my food... Okay, that is why this is no longer a positive. Apparently the food in the food district that I did have ran out. So I think I'll just demolish it, because there's no good reason to keep it around. It's just wasting precious real estate. Yeah, I think going for all the natural resources initially is probably the right call. There is also a frozen forest over here with 57.6 thousand materials. Probably not a bad idea. I can stockpile 50,000 of it, it seems. Is it maybe possible for me to expand this one to then also include... Yeah, that little frozen forest? Rather than making an alternative district, or like an additional district, I think this is a bit better. Likewise, there's no more wood available in this area either, so we'll be destroying that one. Fair enough. 2 million material. Wow. Coal is available here too, and then we have some more of the temperature. So there is a little timeline as well in the upper right, where it indicates the seasons, or at least how the temperature is going to be progressing or regressing, right? So in a couple weeks time, the temperature is going to drop. I think this is like a minus 10 degrees, which would make it minus 30, but it's only for about 10 weeks, at which point it will go back up to a warmer season again. It is important to keep an eye out on this, because sometimes you're caught off guard by like the temperature dropping 20, 30, 40 degrees. And obviously you're going to need way more heating in the city at that point, so it would make it absolutely critical at that point, right, to have all of these additional heat sources available. And considering we're apparently using geothermal energy here, it's not a bad idea for me to, yeah, be making a cut on over towards the springs here. But I think it'd be smart for me to at least dig on over into this bit of terrain and then also potentially get the materials right over here. So if I could, yeah, build a nice little district here that is going to be encompassing all of these prefabs, I think that would be great. So we'll do some frost breaking in that direction. And then likewise, I'll also do the same thing right over here for the coal seam. Or the iron vein, rather. So we have a coal seam here too. You know what? I should probably dig up both. We'll go and start off in this direction. So this is not free, by the way. It costs me a resource called heat stamps, of which I only get 7 a week at the moment. So this is kind of expensive. But you know what? Money is meant to be spent, right? Or heat stamps, rather, are meant to be spent. This thing is still turned off because the temperature in the city is warm enough. Doesn't seem to be that big of a problem. Okay. Estimated time to the next tremor. So I do have to research all do maintenance. 6 weeks goes by real quick, man. Research and build at least one barracks hub. That's still quite a few weeks away. The barracks hub, though. Is that inside of a district? I don't think it is. No, I have this hub. Yeah, okay. So I think it's because I haven't yet done the complete barracks research here. So we'll be progressing forward a little bit faster. Due to hunger, some of our people have starved to death? Wait a second, but I'm harvesting again, no? 97 wood, or weeks rather, available here still. I should certainly be building this up. Yeah, we just need more, we need more food for now. I think that's fine. What about this? Yeah, there's starvation. First Citizen, the latest count shows many of our people recently died of hunger. The hollow, vacant stares of the starving haunt the streets of the city, and an undercurrent of panic tugs at their feet. People fear the horror of years past will return under your leadership. It would be prudent to reassure them. People will keep starving to death until hunger is brought down. Right. I'm working on it! I was already working on it, for what it's worth. Very inconsiderate, these people. Anyways, they don't even like having no food. Like, what do you want me to do? I was left in a pretty bad spot, okay? Extract resources from deposits, right. So we have more deposits over here. I was thinking, boom, fits perfectly. We'll be getting some more of that. Okay, so my food supply is still going down, it seems. I may have to do some emergency shifts here. Yeah. So they're going to be working a little bit longer. But I think that'll be worthwhile. Tremor imminent? Oh, no! Tremors will hit, destroying districts and possibly causing death. So is it just going to kill something? Now that I've built the hothouse, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of excessive fertilization. One day until I can propose another law. Okay, is there anything I can do to reduce the amount of food or like, I don't know, can we like, I don't know, like hypothetically speaking, right? Could we, for example, mix sawdust into our soup? I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, is that something that may or may not be possible? That was a law you could pass in Frostpunk 1. Very effective law. I think I'll make a decision on the basic necessities. So basic necessities such as food rations and basic clothing are customarily provided without compensation, but practices can differ from place to place. So what I really need is additional heat stamps. To foster responsibility and reward work, citizens will be charged a small fee in exchange for essentials such as basic rations and clothing. So I really do need this to pass. It is apparently supported by the brokers. The Four Fingers also hate it though. Wait a second. I need more money. Loco needs more, but I apparently also am going directly against the Four Fingers. Okay. This is where the viewer council would be extremely useful. But I guess I'm gonna have to do this by myself. I can negotiate. So I can't currently negotiate with the Four Fingers. The founders are mostly hesitant when it comes to this. So I can tell them, vote in favor of what I want, which is this particular law. They will vote for passing the law during the next vote. And in exchange, I can give you guys the agenda next. That works for me, man. This is easy. I could also choose a law to pass family apprenticeship, which I also don't mind. But I think this one is easy because I could then negotiate and make sure that whatever they want to vote on, if it doesn't go against what I want, I can negotiate with another party again and basically prevent their stuff from passing. We'll just casually let it go to a vote. Paid essentials. Huh. Wow, would you look at that? It passed.
The ayes have it.
Who would have thought? Paid essentials has been enacted. That's going to give me a little bit more income. We actually need a little bit more food, it seems. Or, sorry, a little bit more heat. I still have this district over here in the corner. Can I not activate it? Why can I not activate it? What's the problem? Do I not have people? I don't think I have people. I have 173. Well, luckily we have apparently... Oh, we have a bit of a death toll. That's maybe not ideal. Okay, new hub proposed by the Four Fingers. Right. So that is the thing that I voted on previously. So this allows me to now make a barracks hub. Train mercenaries, ability to train soldiers and form platoons, but it costs heat stamps. Dude, I don't have any of those. So... do I just plant this down? Oh, yeah. I can just plant this down anywhere. Does it matter where I plant it down? This seems to be as good a spot as any. What's kind of crazy, though, about this game, right, is that oftentimes you make promises to different groups of people, and those promises will be checked on. Even if you haven't thought about it in a while yourself, they will keep you, yeah, pretty honest. So you can keep track of this on the left side. But for example, I promised the Four Fingers that I will go ahead and research all do maintenance. If you forget about it, you do get in trouble. Oh, I don't have enough heat stamps for this at the moment. Not good. I do need a little bit more in order to pull this sort of thing off. But it's a very subtle balancing act. Food, by the way, is still a massive problem, it seems. Despite the fact that I am doing my excessive fertilization and everything else. Record harvest predicted, fertilizers linked to disease. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about the disease. Access the independent colony panel to interact with Aurora. From there, you can send a trade proposal or order your platoons to march on the mutinous colony. There's no way. Okay. Sure, I see.
The price of crew.
Is this the tremor? Oh no! So is that -2 districts?
You're right. I can't see it.
791 people left injured. 297 people died? No, it's like 1,500 people that are injured. Buried alive. First citizen. A massive tremor has struck our city. Far stronger than anything we've experienced before. It has torn through entire districts, burying people beneath the rubble. New Edinburgh is in shock. Caught between panic and sorrow. Streets have split open and buildings lie crumpled like dead spiders. Worse still, we can hear the muffled cries of people trapped beneath the debris. While some beg us to search for their missing relatives, the devastated districts threaten to collapse at any moment, endangering our rescue teams. Are you willing to risk more lives to save a few, or should we write off the missing as dead? We cannot afford jeopardizing more lives. Rescue the victims at all costs. While there is life, there is hope. Some people will die, many will be injured. So, by the way, this over here, the viewer poll that you may have seen pop up a few times. This is just to give you the general idea of how the guys in the chat would vote instead. I really love how deeply this is integrated into the game. So, this is just like a suggestion. It's not like the council, it's not like they get votes. But, for example, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I don't know, man, this is both pretty horrible. If, like, 80% of the viewers would vote for rescuing the victims, I guess that would be the right call. Likewise, I've also found this an excellent way to not take responsibility for my decisions and shift the blame to my viewers instead. No, wait, no. Mourn the missing and move on. Many people will die. We cannot afford jeopardizing. Rescue the victims. You know what? I'll go ahead and rescue the victims because I've already been a horrible person today. This will make it so that everybody thinks I'm a great dude. Right? You will think I'm a great dude again now, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. So I would love to repair this district, but I can't. So this is a housing district, by the way. Meaning that now that the housing districts here are both destroyed, I'm going to have a ridiculous amount of homeless people. They're going to get cold because there's just about to be a 10% or a 10 degrees temperature drop. At which point I am dead, probably. Yeah. But on the flip side, if there are less mouths to feed... then maybe my hunger problem will go away on its own. I think that's where I'll leave it for today. There's a lot more to this story, though, because obviously I haven't even gone out into the Frostlands yet. I haven't even built up an army yet. There seems to be a chapter 2 and then also possibly a chapter 3 here. Is this like the outline of a person? Kind of looks like the shape of a person over here. I'm not exactly sure. I'm really curious, though, to find out what happens to this particular town and the several different ways in which you can go ahead and sort out all these problems. Now, this is a difficult game, right? I do fully expect that when you play this, that you have to restart a couple of times. Alternatively, you can play this on the easier difficulties, I suppose. But whenever I play a game like this, I'm basically already expecting to have to restart several times and do it slightly better each time in order to eventually succeed. Now, if you're interested in checking out this game, big shout out yet again to 11-bit for sponsoring this video. There's a link down below where you can go ahead and pick up this brand new DLC called Breach of Trust. The main game is 50% off if you're watching this video shortly after it went live, so you should certainly go ahead and use this as an opportunity to jump in today. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And if you would like me to continue this run, let me know down below in the comment section. I'm very curious to see how New Edinburgh proceeds.